Please be seated. A very good evening and welcome to the Council meeting. I am Councillor Will Lane, the Mayor. I would like to extend a special welcome this evening too to the children and parents from St Cuthbert's School to our meeting tonight. You are very welcome. Normally at full council we do have a chance for public speaking, but tonight is our annual general meeting to appoint the new Mayor. So I'm afraid that tonight there isn't the opportunity to do that. I do understand, however, that you've spoken with Councillor Folkes, the lead member, and know that officers and Catherine would be very happy to meet with you again straight after this meeting. In June 2017, 72 of our residents tragically lost their lives in the fire at Grenfell Tower. I ask every member of our council to pay our deepest and continuing respects in the conventional manner by marking the moment with 72 seconds silence. Now, would everyone please stand? Please be seated. The first item of business this evening is the election of Mayor. May I please have any nominations? Councillor Rossi.
I nominate Tom Bennett.
And someone to second? Councillor Balasitis.
Yes, I would like to second.
Are there any other nominations? There are none, in which case I invite the proposer, Councillor Rossi, to speak in support of Councillor Bennett. Councillor Rossi.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. It gives me great pleasure to propose Councillor Tom Bennett as our next Mayor. It is an excellent choice. It was a lucky day for me when we selected Tom to be the Redcliffe candidate in 2018. He was young, fresh-faced and enthusiastic, and you always think and you wonder whether they're actually going to do anything. But Tom is the real deal. He is hard-working, intelligent, very diligent with casework, kind, and a joy to work with. Tom has political aspirations and fought the Ealing Southall seat in the 219 general election. However, he has never allowed his political ambitions to get in the way of the job in hand, that is, to serve the interests of the residents in Redcliffe Ward. Tom has talent, and he is a very decent fellow, and he is just the sort of person that you would want to be an MP. Indeed, when you go out canvassing with Tom, you find that everyone knows him. He is very popular with residents, especially the ladies. On the council, Tom has distinguished himself by being the chair of the Environment Select Committee for 2 years, and he has also been the vice chair of the Planning Committee for many years. In his professional life, he runs a small environmental technology firm. I'm not quite sure what it does, but it reflects his passion for improving the environment. Tom studied economics in the United States, where he met the lovely Beatrice, to whom he is now married. They will make a very glamorous pair as the mayor and mayoress in this borough. They now have 2 adorable children, Aurelia and Lorenzo, who are too young to be here tonight, but I hope they will get to share in some of the fun. Tom will make a wonderful mayor. He is very approachable and very keen to find out more about the life of the borough. Though we will miss him in Redcliffe, Kensington and Chelsea will gain a great protagonist, and I hope that he and his family will enjoy the experience enormously. It is a considerable commitment, but I hope it will be a richly rewarding one, and he will also be ably assisted in his role by the exemplary Arian Aretti. Thank you.
Yeah.
I now invite the seconder, Councillor Thalasites, to speak in support of Councillor Bennett. Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And before starting, can I thank you and your Deputy Mayor for your service over the past year. It's a great thing that you've been the youngest mayoral team, I think, in the history of the borough. And I'm especially admiring of your courage recently in taking to the ring. It's one thing to enter the political arena and land some punches, and another thing entirely to step up to the plate in a boxing ring. So now, if Tom is elected mayor, as I hope he is, I've heard whispers from Marie-Thérèse and others that Arian might be the deputy mayor. And whilst I think Tom is wonderful for all the reasons outlined, I'm going to focus on Arian, who was elected alongside me in 2018 in Holland Park, and who has since then been an amazing advocate for the people and the peacocks of Holland Park. He's proudly British Indian, with a degree in information technology from the University of Strathclyde, as well as holding an MBA. And he also chairs an international relations think tank, reflecting his passion for international affairs. But in addition to his professional background, Arian also has a hinterland, and I know him not just as a friend and a politician, but also probably the most accomplished batsman in the council chamber, who has shown off his skills in the nets and in the cricket strip in Holland Park, and who I also know as a Test cricket enthusiast who will look forward to his 2 nations competing in a series this summer. I'm just happy that we've managed to tie him down as Deputy Mayor tonight, since I know that Virat Kohli's retirement last week created a vacancy for that series. As a councillor, Mr. Mayor, Arian has served with distinction on the Environment, Housing and Planning and Licensing Committees. He's also a big campaigner who has fought on issues like bike lanes on Holland Park Avenue, Kensington High Street, and also the installation of noise cameras in Holland Road. Whilst during the cost of living crisis, he worked with St John's Church to set up a free breakfast programme for residents in the ward on Saturday mornings, which was a great example of his civic-mindedness and his compassion. But what makes Arian a perfect pick to be Deputy Mayor is the warmth and the energy that he brings in every room. I'm confident that not a single one of us in this chamber could say a bad word about one of the nicest councillors in the borough, someone whose winning smile and cheeky charm puts all around him at ease. And so I know that he'll bring that lightness and that sureness of touch to events across Kensington and Chelsea if he is Deputy Mayor. And I'm excited for him ahead of what will surely be a very fun and memorable year.
We now turn to the vote. Would those in favour of electing Councillor Bennett as Mayor please show? The vote is in favour of Councillor Bennett. I therefore declare that Councillor Bennett has been duly elected as Mayor of the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea for the ensuing municipal year. And there will now be just a brief pause whilst Councillor Rossi goes to the parlour to collect Mayor-elect Councillor Bennett. Councillor Bennett, you have been elected as Mayor, and so I now invest you with your badge and chain.
I, Thomas Bennett, having been elected the Mayor of the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, hereby declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof according to the best of my judgment and ability. Colleagues, thank you. Thank you for placing your trust in me by bestowing on me the great honour and responsibility of being our mayor for the upcoming year. This was not an honour I was expecting to receive, but it is one I accept with deep gratitude and humility. I hope to enjoy my year as the mayor of the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, but first and foremost, it is a duty. A duty to represent our borough and all of its residents when called upon, and to offer recognition, encouragement and support to the many outstanding causes and people in Kensington and Chelsea. As my mayoral year commences, I look forward to fostering civic pride, civic unity and civic joy across our great borough. I also want to specifically thank my Redcliffe colleagues, Marie-Therese and Sydney, for your friendship and support over the years, and for offering your additional support for the year ahead. I'm aware of the extra burden I've placed on you, especially in an election year, but despite this, you've given me nothing but encouragement. And of course, I want to thank our outgoing Mayor, Will Lane. Will, you have represented our borough with great distinction. You are the youngest mayor in our borough's history and make me look like an old-timer by comparison. But from the outset, it was clear how suited you were to the role. And not just because your wisdom greatly exceeds your years, but because patience, good humour and kindness are perhaps the most important qualities required in a mayor, and those are qualities you possess in spades. Throughout the year, you and your deputy, Laura, have been warmly embraced by every corner of our community. Ladies and gentlemen, this year marks the 60th anniversary of the formation of our Royal Borough and the union of what must surely be the Lennon and McCartney of English local government reorganisation, Kensington and Chelsea. Now, many of you know this story, of course, but the original proposal was for the borough to simply be called the Royal Borough of Kensington. But following what we might call a period of sustained advocacy from the residents of Chelsea, Sir Keith Joseph, as local government minister, wisely decided to change the name to the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea. And it was a good thing he did. Not least, as I expect, we'd still be getting emails about it today. And I'm sure many colleagues can happily attest that Chelsea residents are no less assertive in 2025 than they were in 1965, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Now, much has changed over the course of 60 years. When Alderman Arthur J. Sims, the first mayor of our newly united borough, addressed this chamber in April 1965, the Rolling Stones were #1 in the chart with their new hit, The Last Time. Our railways would not suffer the beaching cuts until later that year. And Mary Quant had just introduced the miniskirt at her shop Bazaar on the King's Road. But while some things may have changed, many things are still the same. 1966 marked the first year of the Notting Hill Carnival, a tradition that demonstrates that this borough is a place of incredible diversity that attracts and welcomes people not just from all over the country, but from around the world. In RBKC, we are rightfully proud of our culture, our history, and our sense of community, and the wide array of people that contribute to all of those. As your mayor, it will of course be my great honour and pleasure to represent our borough at our big-ticket events like Carnival and Opera Holland Park, where we showcase our vibrant corner of London to the world. But I will be equally honoured to attend the many smaller events across our borough and visit the myriad of local groups and organisations that make this such a special place to live. I look forward to breaking bread with friends at Almanar, to treading the boards with the thespians of Chelsea Theatre, and of course to going to see Abdi and the gang at the Earls Court Youth Club, the pride of Redcliffe, for the first time as mayor. Perhaps, though, my most important responsibility as mayor will be partaking in the commemorations of the Grenfell Tower fire. Next month will mark 8 years since that tragedy, but the events of that night, its aftermath, and its legacy will be woven into the fabric of this borough forever. The response from the community in the intervening period has been inspiring and humbling. A community that has pulled together, helped each other heal, and honoured the memory of those who were lost. Grenfell, though, will never be behind us. It will always be part of us. And as mayor, I want to say to all those within the wider Grenfell community, I am at your disposal. Any small way I can help in the healing process, in remembering the victims, or in building a brighter future, please do not hesitate to reach out. There is nothing more important to the mayoralty. So, colleagues, it's going to be quite a year ahead, and there's no doubt I'll need guidance and spiritual support. And that's why I'm delighted Dave Matthews has agreed to be the mayoral chaplain for the year. And in a few moments' time, I will invest him with his badge. Dave is the newly appointed Dean of Chelsea, but has also been the Associate Vicar of St Luke's in Redcliffe Square since 2021. And I'm pleased to say, as the local councillor, that his flock have been exemplary citizens since that time. So I can only hope, therefore, that he will have the same effect on me. My other big decision is, of course, the selection of my mayoress. Okay, perhaps I didn't have too much choice in that one. Not least as someone who's become accustomed to marital life and is in no desire to bring it to a grinding halt. But joking aside, those of you who know my wife, Bea, will know how lucky I am to have her by my side. And what a credit to the borough she will be as mayoress. Together, we've brought two wonderful children into the world, Aurelia and Lorenzo, both born here in the borough. And we've certainly come quite some way since we met in a dormitory corridor in Massachusetts some 20 years ago. Although I suspect that even then, as the only Englishman surrounded by Americans, she may have pictured me as someone who might one day dress in robes like these. So I'm glad to finally live up to expectations. I also want to thank the team at the London Air Ambulance charity for agreeing to be my mayoral charity. For those of you that aren't familiar, the London Air Ambulance charity is quite possibly the world's leading fast response advanced trauma team. Via their 2 helicopters, they can reach anywhere within the M25 within 10 minutes to deliver life-saving treatment by the roadside. It's really quite incredible. Through their enormous skill and heroism, they have saved numerous lives in Kensington and Chelsea and across London, and I hope to further raise awareness of them over the coming year and support their extraordinary work. And lastly, I want to thank my good friend and colleague, Arian Oretti, the doyen of Holland Ward and the paladin of the Holland Park Peacocks, for agreeing to be my deputy mayor. There is no doubt that the mayoral team will be a lot stronger by virtue of having Arian on board. Not only does he have deep links with communities across our borough, he also has that annoying quality of being impossible not to like. So finally, let me just thank you all one more time for the great privilege you have bestowed on me. I take up the mantle with humility and optimism, and I will strive to do our borough proud. I leave you with the words of the RBKC motto, taken from Psalm 133, which, of course, all members know by heart. But for the benefit of our guests, Quam bonum in unum habitare, how good it is to dwell together in unity. So I will now invest the Mayoress with her badge. Okay, so item 2 is the important matter of the appointment and investment of the Deputy Mayor. Councillor Ari Inaretti has agreed to accept the office of Deputy Mayor, and I'm sure he would like to say a few words after I invest him with his badge, or chain rather.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, dear councillors, residents, members of the public, friends and family across the world, and representatives of our voluntary and community organizations. I'm deeply honored and privileged to accept the role of the Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for placing your trust in me. I'm excited to support your vision for our borough, its culture, its spirit, and its future. I truly believe we will make a fantastic team. As a Deputy Mayor, I look forward to working with you and reaching out to all communities across the borough. I'm committed to engage with residents from every background and to serving with dignity, respect, and integrity. Our roles come with great responsibility. I pledge to discharge my duties to higher standards, upholding the values that make our borough a special place to live. As my friend Councillor Thalasitis mentioned earlier, though I was born in India and have traveled across the world, I would rather live and serve than here. As Mr. Mayor said earlier, the warmth and unity of our people is a testament to our borough's motto. What a good thing is to dwell together in unity, as you said, Mr. Mayor. I would also like to take a moment to thank the outgoing Mayor, Councillor Lane, for a fantastic year of service and to wish him all the best in his future endeavors. My gratitude also goes to my predecessor, Deputy Mayor Laura Burns, her exemplary service and support to the Mayor, the borough, and the community. I hope to live up to your standards and thank you for all your support for the opportunity to serve. I look forward to working together to make our borough an even better place to live. Thank you very much.
Item 3 is the appointment of the Mayor's chaplain. The Reverend Dave Matthews, who is Area Dean of Chelsea and the Associate Vicar of St Luke's Redcliffe Square, has kindly agreed to be my chaplain during my year as mayor, and I'm pleased now to invest him with his chaplain's badge. Item 4 is a vote of thanks to our outgoing Mayor and Deputy Mayor. I now call on Councillor Mackover, who will move the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and may I be the first to congratulate you on your election as Mayor. I know that you and the Deputy Mayor will enjoy the enthusiastic support of this Chamber for the important programme that you outlined. Now, it gives me great pleasure to move this vote of thanks to our outgoing Mayor, Councillor Will Lane. Will, together with his superb Mayoress Jenny and excellent Deputy Mayor Laura, have served the borough with distinction at all the civic roles and many hundreds of events. All of us have seen you run these full council meetings with natural authority over proceedings, as well as a compassion for members of the public who are often speaking in public for the first time. You combined this with a phenomenal fundraising record for the Kensington Chelsea Foundation, your full-time job, and somehow managed to find time to become engaged to the wonderful Kate. We all offer you our warmest congratulations. Now, we know that the Mayor's office team handle the full range of invitations through the year, but I'm impressed that Will has shaped these events around his own themes of broad inclusion, cohesive communities, and his love of music, history, education, and faith. Now, with his roots and accent firmly from the Wirral, Will reflected that of the thousands of conversations he had as Mayor, not a single person remarked about this, which I take as a welcome sign of the diverse borough we live in. Whether he was speaking to royalty, England footballers, not necessarily the same thing, the Windrush generation, visitors and communities from Ukraine, Poland, Italy, Philippines, Japan, and many more, and across various faiths, visiting churches, mosques, and other places of worship, this is one borough like no other. Now, I said a year ago that Will had set some records as Mayor by his age and by his height, but I understand other records have now been set as well, such as his propensity for dancing. His carnival opening dancing was reported in the Caribbean press, and his VE Day celebration dancing went down well at Royal Hospital. However, I hear that a characteristically subtle intervention by Philip Chebotowski was needed to prevent Will from taking to the floor at a performance at the English National Ballet School in Chelsea. But mayoral fancy footwork was again much in evidence in our Great Hall for another mayoral record. Will was the first mayor to host a town hall event without his mayoral chain and indeed without his trousers, as he took to the boxing ring to close off a most successful £86,000 fundraising year for the KNC Foundation. Even the boxing gloves were auctioned to raise funds. A special mention for Councillor Catherine Folkes, also being roped in, literally, for her own bouts in the ring, and the incomparable Gerard Hargreaves leading the ceremonies in black tie with 4 hours of continuous commentary over 30 rounds of boxing. So we all remember that year finished off very well. So thank you, Will, Jenny, Laura, for serving the borough in spectacular fashion. We welcome you back, Will, to Queensgate Ward, and our council and our borough much enriched by your sterling contribution. Thank you.
And I'll call on Councillor Evans to second and to speak.
I second. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, and our wonderful departing mayor and deputy mayor. Laura Burns, thank you for being an original deputy mayor. You have brought so much your vitality, your talent, your beauty to the deputy mayoralty. One of the, several of the events that you told me you really enjoyed were going to the different embassies. And I went with you to the Nuremberg Christmas market, and there was Laura engaging with the ambassador, and it went on forever. I don't know if it was her German skills or her legs, but whatever, she did a great job representing the borough. We also had, Laura said what moved her, and one of her most memorable experiences was sitting with Father Brian from St. Luke's Church in a teacup at the, one of the amusement rides, and she said that he had fits of laughter, which he normally is very stern, and they both broke into fits of laughter and couldn't stop. And I think Father Brian will never be the same due to your influence. I thank you for your time, and you made us all proud. You were very well known in your ward, which was Chelsea Riverside, and they will be very happy to have you back. And I know that you will continue representing the borough. You brought a lot of youth and vitality, and the young people really looked up to you, and you set an example for the young people, both in your ward and around Kensington and Chelsea. I wish you good luck. We all do, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all the warmth and vitality that you brought to the deputy mayoralty. Thank you. Yeah.
I believe some other members would also wish to speak. Councillor Ise.
Mr. Mayor, first of all, I will welcome you and your deputy, and I believe you will be a good asset for our council and the borough. Please, Mr. Mayor, let me say a few words about the outgoing mayor and his deputy. It is a great honor for me to stand here today and express my deepest gratitude to the two remarkable individuals who have served our community with distinction. Our youngest outgoing mayor, Councillor Will Lane, and his deputy, Councillor Laura Burns. Although some time has passed since that the annual general meeting you have visited, I firmly believe it is never too late to show my appreciation for those who have made a meaningful impact on our lives and our community. Councillor Lane, your presence at our AGM at that year was not just symbolic. It was a clear demonstration of your commitment and willingness to engage with all residents across our borough. It spoke volumes about your character, your values, and your genuine care for grassroots organizations and the people they serve. Your dedication, your tireless energy, your hands-on approach to leadership have felt a lasting impression. You have shown the leadership isn't just about speeches and ceremonies. It is about action, involvement, and being present where it matters most. You are a true asset to the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea. Your efforts have made a difference that will be remembered. In particular, I would like to highlight your efforts to contact with young people in our community. Your involvement in boxing training sessions is an inspiring example. This session do more than just teach physical skills. They teach discipline, focus, respect, and resilience. They provide a positive outlet and an alternative to the negative to follow. By stepping into that space, you have not only shared your time and energy, but you have become a role model for us and for the young people in our borough. You have shown that there is another way, that a healthy lifestyle, commitment, and hard work can lead to personal growth and community improvement. We need more of that kind of leadership, and I hope Councillor and Mayor Bennett will do that role. More leaders who are willing to lead by example. We are not afraid to roll up their sleeves or work directly with young people. Mayor Lane, your work in this area has not gone unnoticed, and I know many parents, community leaders, and residents are deeply appreciated. Thank you so much. I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to your Deputy Mayor, Councillor Laura Bennis. Your support and contribution to the community initiatives has been equally important. You have worked with quite strength and consistency, ensuring that all parties of the community are seen and heard. Your presence and efforts have brought comfort and encouragement to many. As you move on from your roles, please carry with you our appreciation and best wishes. We thank you for your service, and we look forward to seeing how you continue to make a difference in the future. Thank you very much.
Councillor Lara.
Mr. Mayor, Councillors Lane and Burns, I wish to reiterate the hearty congratulations of my colleagues across the aisle to you upon finishing your municipal terms in office. Councillor Lane, as a fellow member of the younger cohort in RBKC, I know that ascertaining cross-generational respect doesn't often come readily on either side of the aisle. But you have fulfilled your role with diligence and dignity, and more than earned that respect. During your maiden acceptance speech last year in this chamber, you reminded us that the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea is the Grenfell Council, and that the responsibility for the disaster that claimed the lives of 72 of our residents fell on the council. Whilst in the eyes of residents and the community, this council as an institution still has far to go, and justice still has not been served. The honesty and transparency in which you personally approached your civic role as mayor of the borough has been respected across the aisle and across all our communities. I'm glad you've been able to visit my ward of Goulburn on multiple occasions and work with some of our most disadvantaged residents. You've also launched local businesses, including those of a culinary variety. I speak on behalf of the entire opposition group in saying that you have been a fair and even-handed mayor during the course of all our full council meetings, especially when being in the firing line of some of the most difficult personalities this borough has to offer. I also say that on a personal level because I canvassed you during the general election last year at your house, and you didn't shoo me away or cast any aspersions or expletives on me. So, on behalf of the opposition group, I wish you a hearty congratulations to both of you and wish you greater success in the future. Thank you.
All right. Councillor Folkes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations and welcome to the seat. It's such a pleasure to see you there. All I can say is to warn you is that you've got some very big gloves to follow. Councillor Lane, you have been an absolutely astonishing mayor, and obviously you've been ably assisted by Laura, as, to use Marie-Therese's words, to have two such fresh, young, energetic, vital young people has set such an extraordinary example to all the young people in this borough. You've really helped break down assumptions that, to what sort of people are politicians, that they think we're all old and stuffy, like some of us might be perceived as. But actually, there you are, vital, getting out there, and as all my colleagues here have said, really making an impact on the community. And that, for me, is what has been so wonderful, is that you have connected with our young people. And who knows how many of them will now continue to be politicians or even future mayors when they've seen the example that both of you have set. But as many have mentioned in this chamber, earlier this year, you set this very bold challenge to step into the ring and raise money for your mayoralty challenge, the Kensington and Chelsea Foundation, who do such vital work in this borough on tackling mental health, isolation and loneliness and depression in our community. And the great thing for me, being part of that team, was actually that you brought so many diverse people together. What hasn't been mentioned was before the ring, there were 12 gruelling training sessions that we did in North Kensington with Fit for Life. And that, to me, was wonderful, being with young people in the borough, hearing from them, talking to them, doing endless press-ups with them. And actually, that was fantastic. But also to be working with our youth workers and youth. And it just reassured me, well, I know already, just what wonderful youth services we have to offer in this borough through Fit for Life, through Earls Court Youth Club, and all the other youth services that we've got here. So it was absolutely fantastic that you have done that. I know that mental health is a subject so close to your heart, and it affects so many young people in the borough, which is why I really salute your imagination and, dare I say, risky boxing challenge to highlight this issue, to focus on the positive effects of boxing that have already been spoken about here. So I want to say thank you so much for connecting our youth services, our young people, our community, and just showing how much we really care in this borough about the health of our young people and all that we can do to support them here. And also all that you've done in raising an astonishing amount of money for the Kensington-Chelsea Foundation. It's really fantastic. I hope that your newly acquired six-pack and boxing skills were worth the broken nose that you had to go through in the end. And gosh, you were brave in that ring. I was really terrified watching you in there. I also want to say, Laura, of course, you've been absolutely fantastic. Another wonderful model to our young people. And I really enjoyed going to the opera with you and various other things. It was fantastic. And to your mother, Jenny, how wonderful it was that you had this opportunity to work with Will together. I hope you really enjoyed it. So thank you both so much. It's been such a pleasure and to have you both representing this borough. Thank you.
Councillor Nuhr.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I take this opportunity to welcome you as our new mayor. I've worked alongside with you with Environment Select Committee and also currently Family and Children. And I hope you'll do well for the whole borough. Turning to our outgoing mayor, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Will Lane and his deputy, Laura Barnes, for their endless efforts in reaching out to all our parts of our borough, where there is service for elderly, youth services, schools, and also youth activities. Their support has been truly invaluable, particularly in championing the fundraising efforts others has already mentioned. I was closely following Will on that process, and I've managed to sit next to the ring. And I think supporting organizations like Kensington Foundation, who does contribute a lot to this borough, not only for the mental health, but also the work they do in terms of bridging educational gaps, where they bring resources outside the borough to help our communities. So I wish Will and Laura all the best, and hopefully we'll be seeing you in the committee meeting in the coming months. Thank you very much.
Do any other members wish to speak? Yes, Councillor Ali.
It's not often that, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's not often that we have to queue to thank the former mayors, but Will has definitely ended. So many congratulations. Mr. Mayor, many congratulations for your election this evening, as well as the Deputy Mayor. I look forward to working with you, and I will mention that in my speech. But I'm here to congratulate our friend. I would say, rather than wearing a color of a blue party or a green party or red party, you wear the color of RBKC. And I think that is something we all should thank you for the good work you have done, as well as your Deputy, Laura Bans, for the amazing work. It's been a tough year. I'm sure many events that you had to attend. But if I just take a couple of them, I specifically would like to thank you for attending the British Somali graduation ceremony, where across the country, across the UK, graduates who graduate from Oxford, Cambridge, and other universities as far as Edinburgh to come to Kensington and Chelsea and celebrate the role of education and the pathway that is a pathway to prosperity, to share with us and to break bread with us and to that evening. It's something definitely remarkable, and I'd like to thank you and hopefully to continue to inviting you to those wonderful graduation ceremony events, you and the former Deputy Mayor, to come and join us. Yes, to speak about the events you've attended, including Al-Manar Iftar, which I'm hoping the Mayor will also attend during Ramadan. Is a wonderful event across party, across the country. Everyone will come to the Al-Manar Iftar for communities. It's not about the religion. You could be Jewish, Christian, Hindu, Sikh, any faith, or may not even have a faith, but still come to Al-Manar and have a Ramadan Iftar with us. And that's the beauty of having RBKC, a borough which is multicultural, a borough which you are respected for who you are, not specifically the color of your skin or the tribe or the religion or anyone else that different from others. And that's what I'm proud of this borough as a Kensington and Chelsea residents. And finally, the boxing. Just before the final, the boxing was been mentioned, and I was supporting and cheering you. But very well done. For my age, I don't think I would be taking part. But yes, I was once young and tempted to do those wonderful things, but it was really, really great. And the fundraising you have done, and the whole officers, if I may take this opportunity to thank the volunteers, I'm sure you will thank them, our officers, to thank and to be there with you and support you, as well as the councillors. And if I just finish with the last point, you also support the local businesses, as my councillor colleague mentioned, and in Kensington and Chelsea, and especially in Goulburn Ward, which I happen to be starting a business. I declared that interest, so no problem at all. You can definitely say that, we can say Kensington sauce. Why I call it Kensington sauce? Because I love the borough. And this is a wonderful place to be, and I thank you once again for taking the time and to launch that business, and hopefully once again come back and to see you launching your own business. And the mayor, as we've been mentioned, in the technology. So we are representative of our community, and you've shown that fantastic image and the character, you and the deputy mayor, former deputy mayor, as well as your mom is here from the day you've been elected. So thank you for all, and many thanks for what you've done, and I wish you very well for the future and successful future for what you have done. Once again, thank you for your service.
Councillor Benton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations. I wasn't going to speak, but I'll be very quick. I presume most people are aware I don't particularly mince my words, and I'm not particularly. I hope that that also has the effect that when I do say something nice, then that will be taken as honest as well. So I'm just going to reiterate what I said when I first, and this is sort of a double whammy, what I first said to you when I heard about your likely appointment, which is, oh, another good one.
Right, can I ask the Chamber, is the motion for the vote of thanks adopted? In which case, I declare it carried. I'll now present the past mayor with his past mayor's badge. Sorry, and I'll also present the outgoing mayoress with her outgoing mayoress's badge. Would Councillor Lane like to respond?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to respond. And may I start by adding my congratulations as well to you on becoming Mayor. It really is one of the most special things that I've done in my life, and I know you're going to have the most fantastic year ahead. I'm going to stick to my usual operating procedure tonight regarding speeches, and meaning chiefly try and keep it short. So in short, I've had the most brilliant year representing our borough, Kensington and Chelsea. It's not something that I take lightly. It has been an immense privilege, and one which I am very lucky to enjoy so young. None of it would have been possible without other people. The people who, I like to say, do the real work, day in, day out. First, I want the mayoral team, so that's Tony, Gus, Philip, Ahmed, Emily, alongside all the other brilliant officers that keep our council going. That includes Hannah in comms, Douglas in governance, Everton fan John, who works in the postal team, and of course Maxine, our chief executive. You know, chairing full council really is made a lot easier when you have one of the most intelligent people in the entire room right next to you. So thank you, Maxine, for everything that you do. Also want to thank my mayoral charity, the Kensington Chelsea Foundation. It's already been mentioned before, they do amazing work in the borough, vital work, whether it is in mental health, whether it's supporting the educational chances of young people that's been mentioned. And I think our charity boxing event demonstrated just how dedicated young people, and I include Councillor Folkes in that category, are to working hard, being disciplined, putting themselves not first, but putting others first, putting their own safety potentially on the line to raise money for some of the most vulnerable people in our borough. By the way, my nose does feel better now, just so you know. But it was all worth it, because the total raise for the year came to over £86,000, 41,000 of which was raised through the boxing event alone. It was one of the best things I've ever done, can really say that. I also want to thank you, my fellow councillors, because as mayor, one of the most important parts of the role is being a person who's there for all councillors, regardless of party, view, political affiliation, and the understanding that you've shown me from all sides of the chamber in attempting to carry out that crucial function, possibly the most important function of the mayor, has been very much appreciated. And I think that bipartisanship has been sort of no better exemplified in my delight to attend a launch from the leader of the opposition group of the Council of Kensington Source, which was amazing. You know, I think starting a business at the same time as performing public service really is not something to be taken lightly. So it was my pleasure to attend that. I also want to thank my chaplain, Brian, who's, I've just mentioned full council. Well, Brian's Thursday morning, 7:30 a.m. Bible study class has been the perfect way to recover from full council. So thank you, Brian, for providing that guidance for me this year as I carried out that role. I also want to thank my mum, just for being steadfast in her love and support for me, as she always has been whilst raising my brother and I as a single mum. So thank you so much, Mum. and to my beautiful fiancée, Kate, I promise that now I'm not mayor, I will have time to actually help plan our wedding. It's difficult to single out any specific events in the year, and I know I probably shouldn't, and I'm hesitant to mention any one mayoral event in particular. There are so many good ones. My colleague Sam so gracefully mentioned some of these, but please do forgive me if I talk about just one. And since I know we have pacifists in the room, it won't be the boxing. One of the events that really does stand out to me was last year when I hosted a reception in the parlour to mark Windrush Day. I felt genuinely humbled listening to the many lived experiences of people who came here to our borough to contribute positively to everything around us, yet did that in the face of severe discrimination and racism, perhaps most famously of which the 1958 Notting Hill race riots, where those people who came here from the Caribbean were violently attacked. Part of the response to that was the creation of Notting Hill Carnival in 1964, and make no mistake, we're so lucky to have Notting Hill Carnival in our borough. Had the best time there, met the best people. It was wonderful to do that as mayor. That generation, in the face of all they suffered, made immense contributions to our country and our borough. And one of those people who attended the reception was Alison Ingrid Lane, but spelled L-A-Y-N-E, Williams. I hope she wouldn't mind if I now call her a friend. When Alison arrived in London in 1969, she pursued a career in nursing and midwifery and gave 35 years of service to our borough and our country, even in the face of the hostile and overt racism she received when she was training to be a nurse. When I was chatting to her at the reception, she told me that her husband, her late husband, Vernon Williams, was a founding member of Carnival in 1964, and I'm happy to say that a photograph of him at Carnival now proudly hangs in the mayor's parlour. A few weeks ago, Alison and I caught up over tea, and she was really generous in gifting me a copy of her signed book, which is called Tell Me Something I Don't Know. It's named after the catchphrase she coined when she was suffering racism during her life. However, the indomitable resilience that she showed was the beginning of a great journey of service across 8 decades. Now that I'm no longer mayor, I look forward to having the time to read her book and learn about her journey, like so many others, to make our country, our city, and our borough a better place for everyone. That's what we all, regardless of our political beliefs, I think, want to do. It's what should unite us, and in the face of whatever challenges we may face in the future, gives us strength to face them together. Thank you so much.
Now, would Councillor Burns like to respond?
I mean, talk about following that, jeez. But yeah, I'll say a few words to add. So, obviously, being Deputy Mayor is not as hard work as it is being Mayor. However, it's still a lot. It's a lot for the year, but it's really great. Basically, being invited to so many organisations, hubs and charities in the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea is truly humbling and inspiring to see what joy and smiles can happen just when you turn up in a chain. It's quite bizarre, but but it really does have a profound effect. You will notice, you won't expect it, but it's incredible. So yeah. basically, it makes all the volunteers and everyone that's involved in doing so much for this borough feel seen, feel noticed, and sort of acknowledging their work gives them something that you can't put a value on that. And so it's really, truly remarkable. So I'm glad if that's all I could do, if that's my one favourite thing of the year, that would be it. The fact that I had that impact on so many people. Because of the chain, mainly, but I was there too, so I'll take it. I'd like to thank all the volunteers and all the people that welcomed us into their sort of events, into everything that we went to, everything they invited us to. Thank you so much for all the hard work you do. It's so valuable and so precious. It's been a wonderful whirlwind this year, and obviously the Kensington and Chelsea Foundation do amazing works, and through them we got to see more than we would probably usually see throughout the year. So I just want to say thank you so much to the Kensington and Chelsea Foundation. Keep up the hard work. You are appreciated and you are super valuable in this borough. So thank you to all who welcomed us with that as well. I'd like to thank my fellow councillors. You have been really interesting, actually. Some of you have really enjoyed coming to the events with me, which has been really cool. And you've all given such great advice. So past mayors, deputy mayors, and people sort of, I guess our seniors, if you will. That's a horrible word to use, but anyway, people that just know our wiser cohort have given us such really good guidance and tips, and they've really helped us throughout this year as well. And also, on a side note, to my Chelsea Riverside team, thank you so much for supporting me this year. Really, I appreciate it a lot. And I'd like to thank the Mayoral team. You have no idea the work that the Mayoral team do. Wow, they literally sort out our diaries. They get us to where we need to be. Without them, I think we would have failed at the first hurdle, because it's a lot of work behind the scenes. So thank you so much to Tony, to Gus, to Emily, to Philip, to Ahmed. You guys rock. Thank you. And you were our rock. So thank you so much for that. And then last but no means least, I'd like to thank Will, for making me your Robin. Making me your deputy mayor. It was such a pleasure to watch you grow throughout the year and to see you sort of really thrive in your role as mayor, and sort of to be there as your sort of second in command, if you will, was also a real eye-opener for me, and I think I learned a lot along the way, so that I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for choosing me. For the last time, as the outgoing Deputy Mayor, I'd like to say once again, thank you all.
I shall now just pause for a moment in case any guests would like to leave before we start the remaining business, though you are, of course, very welcome to stay and watch the rest of Annual Council. Thank you. Item 5 is minutes of the council meeting held on 30th of April this year. The minutes of the previous meeting have been circulated. May I sign them as a correct record? Item 6, declarations of interest. Does any member wish to declare a disclosable pecuniary or any other significant interest in any item being considered at tonight's meeting? Item 7, special announcements by the Mayor. There are none. Item 8, the Chief Executive's communications.
I have apologies from Councillors Hargreaves, Marshall, North, Wheel, Ahmed and Adam, and I have no apologies for lateness.
Item 9, statement by the Leader of the Council and response by the Leader of the Opposition Group. I now invite the Leader of the Council to address the meeting for up to 5 minutes.
Thank you, and a very good evening to our new Mayor. Well, tonight's not about me, so I'm going to be very brief. Tonight is about an historical and important changing of the Guard, and I always feel proud that we uphold such traditions and place such value and importance on the role of the Mayor in this borough. Like all boroughs, we are 60 years old this year, something to celebrate and something to reflect on. We are custodians of the borough, its streets, its people, its history, and it's something that we as a leadership team and as a political group take very seriously. And I still find it incredible that I'm only the 7th leader in this council's history. Mr. Mayor, we're really looking forward to listening to residents on the doorstep over the next year as we shape our manifesto to maintain conservative values and leadership in this borough and fight for every ward in the local election. Which brings me, first of all, to Councillor Lane. He has taken the role of Mayor to new heights this year, raising £80,000 to the KNC Foundation and visiting all corners of the borough, London, schools, cultural centres, religious leaders, residents' groups, street parties, sporting occasions, all so important for the connection of communities and councils. Such reach. And that wasn't the only reach that proved to be important as he embarked on his final visit to the boxing ring and his 3-round bout. And it's impossible for me to stand here tonight, look at Will, look at Catherine, and not applaud them for their efforts last week in which was no doubt the charity match of the decade. And And to the new Mayor, Councillor Tom Bennett, we wish you all the best for the year ahead, and we all know you're going to just be great. So even when talented people leave and start something new, like our Mayor does every year, it means a chance for someone to come in and refresh things and do things in their own way, moving things forward, which, Mr. Mayor, also brings me to some changes in the leadership team. We've also had a refresh on these benches, with Johnny taking up the new environment and planning role, and Jem starting out in a new position for finance, digital and efficiency. Bringing together our efforts on net zero, clean streets, enforcement and the built environment makes sense, and I know Johnny's keen to get to work and meet residents right across the borough. Through GEM, we're also going to put extra focus on emerging technology and making the most of digital opportunities. We want to be at the forefront of working with AI and automation, so long as it sits alongside our principles of being prudent with taxpayers' money and providing the best possible services. It's an understatement, but the world is changing at a faster pace than ever before, and it is vital that we're in a position to benefit from progress and turn to AI and automation when services can be improved and when spending can be reduced. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you, and again, best of luck for the year ahead.
I now invite Councillor Ali to respond for up to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. May I again congratulate you, as I've done before, for your electing position as the Mayor of the Royal Borough of RBKC, as well as the Deputy Mayor, my good old friend, Councillor Arati. It was a pleasure to work both of you with different committees, well, planning and housing, and I look forward to working with you. I and the Labour group of councillors are both looking forward to working with you. Once again, congratulations to our former leader and the former Mayor, keep saying leader. Maybe one day you will be the leader, who knows? And that's no challenge to Councillor Elizabeth Campbell. But yes, former Mayor, many congratulations for the role you have played, as well as former Deputy Mayor. Mr. Mayor, this 2025 year is an AGM year. As you're well aware of, I am pleased to say I've been re-elected as the leader of the group and the leader of the opposition. And I want to thank my fellow Kensington and Chelsea Labour group of councillors for electing me for the 3rd year. And this shows a stable and realistic leadership. As I'm the first and the only ever British Somali Labour group leader or group leader for any political party in the UK, it's an honour to continue to lead the Labour group in Kensington and Chelsea. You may remember last year, Mr. Mayor, that the leader of the council, when I was elected a few years back, she said that she was looking forward to working with the next leader, as the Labour group chooses a leader every year. But that was absolutely short-lived. My Labour group of councillors have shown that they have a trust in me, and this is why I've been elected for the 3rd year. But also to mention that my visionary and stable leadership that continued without reshuffling of every year, as the leader of the council has been doing. And you've just heard the reshuffle from one councillor to another position. But that, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's stable or a strong leadership, but that is a reshuffle, which I don't have to do as the leader of the opposition, is continuing to support my fellow councillors. And we will see next year what's going to happen. On a more serious note, Mr. Mayor, we are here because of our residents. Our residents have elected us, and we are the voice of our residents in RBKC, and our residents across the borough, not just the north, but south and central of the borough. And they have been contacting us to be their voice of this borough, and they have been contacting us specifically the ongoing difficulties, human suffering in Gaza, Palestine, as we have residents who have been mentioning the bloodshed that has been happening and the carpet bombing in Gaza from the Israeli government, the Israeli forces, of the last 19 months. And the death toll has now passed over 6,000 innocent people, including innocent people, as well as minimum of 16,000 children. That is unacceptable. And furthermore, the children and innocent civilians who have survived the relentless bombing of Gaza are still dying due to lack of food and clean water. That cannot continue, Mr. Mayor. And we will continue to call a ceasefire, as well as the release of the hostages held in Gaza, which to have a peace and prosperity in that part of the world. Mr. Mayor, just calling a ceasefire is not good enough, and I would really urge the Prime Minister of our country, the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer, and the members of the parliamentarians, as well as the governments that are close to Britain, including, I would say, the Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States, to really work on a peace in that part of the world and to save innocent lives. Mr. Mayor, this is coming an election year. And we, the Labour group of councillors, will continue to campaign for safer and healthier homes, economic prosperity throughout the borough, not just one area, but throughout the borough, helping to create local jobs for the local people, reducing inequality in the borough, cleaner and safer streets for our residents, and providing much-needed improved health services for both our adults as well as disabled members of our communities throughout the borough and throughout RBKC. Supporting the young people is an important junction for us as a Labour group of councillors, because we want the young members of our community not just to dream of a better life, but to build a better life here in RBKC, so that they know we are supporting them to fulfill their brighter future rather than just being left alone. And on that note, Mr. Mayor, I wish to thank once again our officers who have been supporting us year in, year out for the work they do. And once again, many congratulations, Mr. Mayor, for your election tonight. Thank you.
Item 10, ratios and appointments to committees. The appointment sheet has been circulated in the supplementary agenda pack, pages 3 to 10. May I have a proposer and a seconder for the report's reception?
I'd like to propose.
And I'm very pleased to second. Thank you.
I call on councillors Addenbrooke, Lowry, Wade and Dent Code to move the nominations standing in their names.
I wish to move the nomination standing in my name.
I wish to move the nomination standing in my name, Mr. Mayor.
I wish to move the nominations in our name.
I
move the nomination standing in my name.
Does Council agree to note the political balance, confirm the ratios and appointments to committees, and agree the appointment of the Chair and Vice Chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee? The recommendations are agreed. Item 11, appointments to outside bodies. The appointment sheet has been circulated in the supplementary papers. I call upon Councillors Addenbrooke and Lowry to move the nomination standing in their names on pages 11 to 13 of the supplementary pack.
I wish to move the nomination standing in my name.
I move the nominations in my name.
Are the nominations as set out in the supplementary agenda pack agreed and the Leader of the Council's nominees to London Council noted? The nominations are agreed or noted as appropriate. Item 12, there is no other business to bring to members' attention. That concludes the business of this annual council. To speed things up, may I invite everyone to remain seated as we shall now proceed with the meeting of all council's side committees to elect chairs and vice chairs. All the relevant papers have been circulated. May I ask members of those committees, are the memberships on pages 3 to 10 of the supplementary pack noted? I declare them noted. Members are now asked to appoint the chairs and vice chairs of the committees. Are the appointments listed on pages 19 and 20 of the supplementary pack agreed? I declare them carried. That concludes the business of this meeting. The next meeting of full council is on Wednesday, the 25th of June, 2025. Good evening.